Hey Palash, welcome to this call.
Thank
And
you.
and Palash, we were trying to connect from a long time, but finally we connected. So as we decided, okay, so in this particular call, we'll be focusing on that how someone who wants to become a product manager, who is already a product manager, can come up with an PRD of an basically they have an idea, so they can create a PRD out of that using AI tools, and also how they can create or build their MVP using AI tools in just a few hours.
Yeah,
So you will be showcasing that thing practically over here, right? Doing that, right?
absolutely.
Superb.
Absolutely.
So you can go ahead.
Perfect. Thanks, Sachin, for doing this and welcome everybody. I think what we are entering a world right now is where no code has made everything possible. So it's about testing your ideas fast once you discover something. And the best way to learn is something about which you feel there is a problem in your life and you want to fix. So what we're going to do now is we'll first come up with some ideas that we can quickly build a simple basic PRD on, and then we'll use one of those no coding tools to build this particular thing out. But prior to that, it's important that all our audiences understand what actually no code building is all about. I'll just take 5 minutes to explain what this is. I'm going to share my screen so that we can all see this through.
Definitely.
Right. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Cool, amazing. So no code building. I often say this: if a picture is worth 1,000 words, a prototype or a no code product is basically worth 1,000 meetings. You can take it anywhere with you and sort of visually make people align to what you're trying to build, what you're trying to sort of focus on. Can work well in investor meetings or if you're doing internal stakeholder work as well.
Mhm.
But it's important for all.
Continue.
Cool. So no code building. Like I said, picture is worth 1,000 words. Prototype is worth 1,000 meetings. You can basically cut through the noise, create something fast, very simple, very basic, but at a very cheaper cost as well. Test your ideas and then invest heavily into it. But before we go into that, it's important for us to understand certain terms, what these tools are, what categories do they lie into, and some basic software technology terms so that we as non-technical product managers also can sort of make the most use of it.
Mm.
So very important to know that these no-code builders are available in three different categories. One of them is called a chatbot. A chatbot is something that will explain the code and snippets of the code, like how ChatGPT was until a few weeks ago, where you can get a code, but you
Mm.
cannot see a front-end build of it. You have to
Mm.
take that code into some other local environment to host it and see what it has built, right?
Right.
Claude, for example, has recently started giving you front end itself, the Opus 4 model.
Mm.
And similarly, there are other platforms like Lovable, Replet, which can host your front end and your back end. Now,
Mm.
these are called cloud platforms. These are full stack platforms which can build and run your apps.
Mm.
Then the third categories are called local assistants. These
Mm.
are like your extended development team,
Mm.
Cursor, Windsurf, where you need a little bit of coding experience so you can get the best out of it. These are more like coding helpers and not
Mm.
enablers. Like cloud platforms can do the entire thing for you. In these tools, it's much better if in local assistance you understand a bit of code because then you can guide it accordingly. And the more advanced you process towards, you will basically move from chatbot to cloud platforms and then local assistance because you would want to own the complex app that you are eventually going to build,
Right.
right? So now with that in mind, let us understand a few basic terms of software engineering so that life becomes easy when we start coding about it, right? So three terms. First of all, a client side. You will often see this when your no code builder will also reply to you, hey, I've done the client side code. So client side is nothing but the front end where you interact. So like in this particular interface, whatever you see on the screen, it's called a front end. It's often built in languages like JavaScript. Now, why is this important to know? Whenever you're working in a company or you are trying to build something out, there are certain languages that you want to follow. If you're starting out fresh, it's okay. You can not tell the no code builder what you want to code into. But let's say, for example, I work at Dream11, we work on React framework or in JavaScript. So I would want to tell this no code builder that, hey, whatever code you're writing for the front end, write it in JavaScript. So that later, if you want to import this code from here into your local terminal, into your company library, you can very easily integrate it over there as well. So
Mm.
knowing this basic nuances helps. The second is a database. Database is nothing but which stores all the data that you have on your front end and your back end, which will come next, right? This is what powers the app data. So whenever you are saying that you want to log in on a particular platform and you type, hey, my email ID is palash.somani, my password is ABCD, and you save it, these particular information go and save in your database. So every time when you now log in again, the front end will send a request to your database that, hey, can you verify this information for me?
Mm.
right? And this verification part is basically coming through this backend logic, which is
Mm.
your behind the scene task that powers the app. So every logic from your front end is taken from there to your data backend. So think of front end as somebody who takes your order, and backend is somebody who will process this order using the logic and the database that is written over there, right? That should give us enough for understanding what a basic no-code prototype or MVP that we can build. Now
Mhm.
there are four major tools in market out there which are doing really good right now, and there are more coming with Gemini's improvement and Firebase. But the four key ones are: one is V01. This is by Versal. If you're making a very UI heavy prototype or a product which is just pure UI, I would always recommend go with V01 because this is all the best UI libraries already imported into it. So you won't have to do the UI work that much. You can just reference to a particular library, ki, hey, can you import Shadzian UI for me? And it will automatically import that for all the components. The
Mhm.
limitation, however, is on the backend side. You can't customize it too much. There are some basic things you can do, but not a very detailed, complex app. Then comes your Bolt, which I
So,
found to
Palash,
be.
can you give an idea around that? What kind of this definitely the your UI heavy app that can be built or not that can.
So think of it this way: you're building a Tinder. Now Tinder needs to look very upbeat, very jazzy,
Mm.
right? So you would want to choose a platform like V01 or Lovable, which can do really good job on your front end, your UI,
Mm.
how it will look and feel to people, right? Whereas if you are building something very heavy on the back end, I just want a journaling app, or I want a SaaS software or a very data heavy software, I
Mhm.
would do that in Replit, because Replit has a very powerful AI agent which will help you build the logics which are a little more complex,
Mm.
but less okay on UI as well.
Got it.
Now, once you're comfortable with both these two, what you actually do is you build the front end on Lovable or V0, but you
Mhm.
build the back end on Replit, and you connect the two in GitHub, which is a code repository where you can connect all the code together. But that's more advanced stage where you can mix and match between two different softwares.
Got it. I think
For
as
the
as an aspiring product manager who want to try out their idea, it's not a mandatory that they should both of these things, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think get comfortable is very important,
Yeah.
and this is where I would say ki, while Lovable and V0 would be great for doing your front end work, in
Mm.
today's work exercise, what we'll do is we'll use Replit, because I want you to understand how you can build the entire backend also with prompts, good looking front end, decent looking front end, some authentication, and
Super.
Replit is a very good hand holder for that.
Super. I'm excited to see that.
Cool. With that, now let's go into building our first thought about what we really want.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open this GPT that I've created for myself, which
Mm-hmm.
helps me write a simple PRD in a different structure. I've coded it with my particular knowledge and some best practices, some of from your post as well, about how it can structure really good PRDs.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try and give it a thought. Right. So I'll say to it, ki, hey, I want to build something using no code for Gen Z, India, tier 2, tier 3 cities. Help me with some app ideas I can build. Let's see what it comes up with. And we'll choose an idea. Right now, we're just going about it by choosing an idea,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have something yourself as well, you can basically directly use it. So there is a hyperlocal micro job, local creator collab marketplace, Gen Z skill drop, confessions plus advice app. Interesting. Street fashion community. Wow, I think this mental health is something that nobody talks about. So let's see if we
Right.
can try something with mental health and create that.
Definitely.
So I'm going to use
Confession.
this. Yeah, Confessions plus Advice app.
Mm.
And I'm going to say, okay, it's an interesting topic as well. Let's choose this one. Can you help me with an MVP PRD for this? And obviously, we'll read through the output because it's important that we understand what we are trying to build, and we can cut out the fluff accordingly.
Mm.
So now what it's done is it will first break down, okay, I'm building Confessly, an anonymous local first advice and confessions app for Gen Z in tier 2 and 3. The problem statement that it has identified without us giving much context so far is
Mm-hmm.
in tier 2, 3 Indian towns, Gen Z faces unique social pressures around dating, mental health, college, and family expectations. Quite true, actually.
Yes.
But open discussions is rare due to stigma, lack of safe spaces. There is a clear gap for an emotionally safe, semi anonymous, culturally aware space tailored for this demographic. Wow, it has actually nailed it. So primary goal is enable anonymous yet moderated expression of personal stories or dilemma, like a chat functionality, like your LinkedIn where you can put a feed, but it has to be anonymous, where you can post anonymously, I can reply anonymously, offer peer-to-peer advice and mentorship, and ensure regional cultural sensitivity and safety. Important in India, every 50 kilometers culture changes, right? So yeah. So it has taken some success metrics as well. We can change it later, but for now we'll keep it as is. Now, proposed solution: build a no-code mobile-first app where users can anonymously post confessions, text only, optional tag like love, family, college. Others can reply with advice and empathy. Perfect. A city-level segmentation like Patna confession or Nagpur advice, actually great option. Mentor mode for verified older users, an in-app reporting mod tool for content guidelines. Sign up with OTP, okay, localized feed, post comments. So this actually looks good.
Yeah.
And there is a UX and product requirement also. I want mobile first, simple dark light UI, anonymous post. So the decent thing it has given to us. What we're going to do is now take this entire thing and take it into a different GPT that I've created, which will convert this part into a prompt for any no-code builder. And we'll take the entire user stories, edge cases. I'm going to ignore the technical considerations currently because I'm going to use Replet. So I want Replet to identify those. Remove everything that is technical risk and timeline because right now we're not focusing on timeline.
Right.
What we'll focus on, however, is the previous part. But as you can see, it gives out a detailed PRD with all the different sections we need.
Right.
And any product manager basically can use this and keep changing based on their company's requirement.
Yeah.
And we'll share it across with your community as well.
Super.
Yeah, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to do this different GPT now, which is a no-code navigator. So what I realized was at the end for every AI tool, it is all about prompting. How better can you do it, right? That is where the real crux lies. And if someone as an aspiring product manager wants to learn no-code, I'm sure they don't want to invest $20, $25 at the start to learn it. And these no-code builders have very limited functionality when it comes to, okay, you can only send out 10 messages to me, or you can only chat about up to 500 tokens or 1 million tokens. So it's important that you use the tokens very wisely. Right. So what this no code navigator does it breaks down your entire product into multiple prompts, which you can just copy paste directly into different tools.
Got it.
And this has context about Replet, V01, Lovable, Bold. So you can tell it at the start that, hey, I'm going to use Replet. So give me a prompt which is tailored for Replet. So let's try this out.
So rather than the person trying out multiple prompts, optimizing them, it is already giving the optimized prompts in one go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Superb.
So come up with the idea, make the PRD with the PRD writer, then come to this, convert it into prompts. So let's try that out. Okay. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to use Replit to build out the below product. Here is the MVP PRD for this. Help me with prompts to give to Replit. Right. And I've pasted my PRD over here. Okay. Thank you for sharing a clean PRD for Replit. So see, it has automatically figured out what stack you can use to build. Now, if you are in a company where you don't use this particular stack and something else, you can just tell over here, hey, I want to replace this with so and so stack, and it will do it. For authentication, we have set sudo basis no full login or phone OTP for future. Primary entity is this. So system overview is given, goals and success, architecture summary, functional modules, Replit prompt for that, city feed inputs, reply to post. Amazing. So it has spelled out everything for us step by step that you can give to Replit directly from here. It has prompt blueprint. It has the final MVP checklist. Would you like me to generate the Replit ready prompt code block, or should we bash this into smaller build chunks? This GPT is also coded for is that if sometimes you want direct code, you can give it. But because we are going to use a no code builder, we are not going to take the code. We're just going to copy the upward functionality and just paste it and Replit. Right. So thank you for sharing this. And I'm going to copy this. And this is the Replit interface now. So once you log in Replit, you will see an interface like this. And in the front, here is the chatbot where you will talk to the AI. Right. I'll quickly give a small overview. This is a free account. So once I type the prompt, because it's a long prompt, it has gone into this pasted window where everything is written. What you can also do is you can click on improve prompt. This will improve your prompt if you're just trying directly in Replit,
Okay.
because it is coded with Replit's context.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, because we are using a GPT, we'll use the same one as well. You can define an app type as well. Auto would mean that the AI agent inside Replit will choose something, and then modern app, and you can justify depending on what your use case is. So I'm going to
Okay.
leave it at auto for now. And this particular section, if you see your starter plan, this is very important to understand. Now, what does this mean is you can build up to 10 applications for free, but you only have 5 agentic checkpoints. Now, this basically means after this point, your agents will not help you build this. You have to do a lot of manual back and forth in building this on a free plan.
Oh.
Yeah. So we will ensure that we remain in this limit to build out for today's workshop. Right, cool. So now let me send it for start building. Now, another interesting thing Replit does it, once it will read through all the instructions we have given, it will first make a plan. Now,
Okay.
and it will show that plan to us that, hey, I'm going to do this. And I'm also showing you certain enhancement, I think, as Replit, that we can do it on your product. You can choose to accept it or say, hey, for now, just build what I have told you.
Got you.
Yeah, so it will come up over here in a second. This is where you have to wait a little. So yeah, see, it has given your initial planning. It is asking for plan approval, and it is also give you later, hey, you could do these additional functionalities. If
Okay.
any of these is something you like, you can directly click the checkbox and it will do it right now only.
Okay.
But for now, I will approve the existing plan that we had because it
Mm-hmm.
has made the initial planning, and we will let Replit build it out for us. So this particular interface, the left hand side is your agentic interface where you talk to the agent about whatever you want to build, how you want to build it. And on the right hand side, you can preview the application live, where a visual interactive preview will come where you can interact with the database and see the front end, how it is operating.
Superb.
Right. While it is building, because it will take a few minutes, I'm going to quickly show around what all else is there over here. So this top is the deploy button. When you click on it, you can basically you deploy your app to production. Replit will give you a temporary URL which you can use throughout if you want, or if you want a custom domain, you can transfer it to your custom domain as well.
Oh.
A couple of things to of known importance. Depending on how many people you're exposing the app, you will have to scale it. But Replit has the option of auto scaling, so it can choose what the right scaling amount is depending on the traffic coming to the app. However, this is cost you. So because you're scaling a system, it will cost you some money for it. So it will take your credit card information and it will charge you on a monthly basis. But
Got
if
you.
you're testing out for like 1,000 users and you think in a month they will come on the app, let's say 10 times, use it a little, you can do all of that under $40 to $50. So if you're really testing out a product, think of it as if you've taken $20 Replit subscription to build it, another $50 to test it. So within $100, which is 8,000 rupees, you have basically tested your entire idea
MVP
with
basically.
1,000 users. Yeah, MVP. And you have got proof of concept before investing heavily into it.
Right.
So definitely the game has changed, right? So Replit is building right now. It will show up once everything is available to us. A few touch points here as well. So this is basically your preview pan, which opens up right now. So if I close this and I click on this, your preview pan can again show up over here from this button. This is your console. Now, console basically is something where if you understand code and you want to restart something directly, you can use console. Let us Replit do the job for us. Right now, we'll not use console at all. Then comes your database. This is where Replit will set up the database and we can later access and see what different data tables it has created. Where do we want the data to flow? Do we want a different kind of data structure? All of those things. Deployment I've already shown you. So we will wait. Now, right now, it is building out the UI. So it looks very patchy, but it will build out the complete thing once the
Yeah.
interactive prototype is done. So no code prototyping overall has become so fast in that sense because one, right now for 10 another 10 minutes or so, Replit will keep building. So you can actually do some other work as well. You are not
Right.
completely occupied when you're building it for few hours.
The best part is for someone like me because I am not so good with the coding. Okay, so I don't need to code. That's the best part.
Absolutely, that's actually very powerful use case. However, and that's a very good point you brought up, and I was the same person as well. But what I did over time was, so Replit and all, you can see the different files it is creating for different versions, right? It's okay to not understand the code completely, and that's actually the right way to do it as well, because why get so much technical? But it is important to understand some of these technical terminologies. So the file name it is giving you, hey, I have made changes to index.html file, for example. It's always good that, hey, copy that index.html and go to ChatGPT or Claude or whichever platform you're using and ask, hey, I'm using Replet as a prototype builder. What is an index.html file? What does it do? So that you understand contextually where the error is coming, where the code is changing, so that later debugging becomes easy, and you can
Get
over
a
time.
gist about the things.
Absolutely. And over time, you can tell Replit directly, hey, only make change in this particular file.
Right.
That will save tokens. So that will save cost as well for you.
Yes.
Yeah. So while this is loading up, that's a very good segue for also learning what are some of the best practices for no code building. So I'll quickly take you guys through that while that particular prototype is building out. This is something I have learned with experience. So this is completely what my experience has told me. Some of this can apply to you. There could be more out there, but these are the basic ones that definitely I think will help a lot. So first of all, let's start with a great spec, right? Like we went first to a PRD writer, asked it to write our entire requirement.
Right.
What is our technical stack? What is our phase roadmap? Because it is important that your no code builder also understands the context. Otherwise, it is generative AI. It will take your input and it will generate the next random word basis probability, right? So the more context you give it, the better it is that it will work in the direction that you are trying to go. The second is plan before you build. If you're doing a complex feature, always ask AI to plan first and code later. Now, what happens is, I'll give you an example. Sometimes you will be stuck in an error, and these no code platforms has made it so easy that you click on, hey, please fix this for me, and it will fix it for you. But sometimes the AI can also go into a loop because it is not able to understand where the error is coming at, and as a non-technical person will just keep clicking, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. It's always good at that point to tell AI, hey, don't code anything, just take a step back and plan this out. Tell me your exact plan, how you will fix it. At this point, what will happen is the agent will reply to you with a plan, which is a logic driven plan. Like, for example, if you wanted to, hey, my authentication is failing. So it will come and say, okay, I'll first go check the auth table where all the database entries are correct or not. Is Palash.Sumani even existing over there? Or is the logic breaking that I'm not able to pass it to front end? Now, these simple steps, as a non-technical person, you can understand. It seems logical. Yeah, you should do these only. So you can comment better to the AI. Yeah, this looks like a right plan. Go implement it.
Got you.
Otherwise, you can make it to change course correct also, right? So that way it helps to break AI out of the loop. The second thing is, if it is a big plan, break it into simpler steps and ruthlessly simplify if you're trying to build an MVP, and then only build it, because otherwise you will have a big code stack build, and every time you want to add a new functionality, Replit or any other agent will have to make changes at so many places. So that is also very important. Then once you have nailed it, now here though you have this GPT which can help you give this entire prompt. But if you're trying it on your own, try one small feature at a time. Don't ask everything at once.
Yeah.
Test one feature, see if it works, then move on to the next one.
Yeah, because if you're building any something complex in one go, then definitely if there will be any error, it will be difficult to figure out that where the problem is.
Absolutely. And multiple things could break at the same time as well. And if you are stuck and you don't know the right path, and you're thinking the AI is also not able to give you the right path, ask it for options. Like sometimes all it needs is, okay, let me break down into 4 or 5 different ways how it can be done, and ask it to work on the simplest one. Like in my experience, 9 out of the 10 times, the simplest option has done the job. So I'll ask it, hey, give me 3 ways to do this from simplest to most advanced. It will tell me which one is the simplest. If it sounds right to me, I'll always go with the simplest one. And that has more often than not done the trick, because it does 3 things. One, baby steps, small plan, actionable, very good. Doesn't build anything additional which you don't need.
Right.
So you don't have to debug later as well. So it's very powerful that way. Like one of the most important thing all of us have to understand is generative AI is just 2-year-old, and
Right.
no code building is not even 1-year-old truly. Right? So these are babies in their own sense, and you can't feed the baby all at once. You
Right.
have to reinforce to the baby that, hey, do this, do this, do this. You have to treat it like a baby. not like an adult. And if you do that, automatically everything will come into picture the right way.
Otherwise, baby will make your life a mess.
Exactly, we will make your eyes a mess.
I am a father of a 2.5 years old kid, so I know that how these babies
Same,
can.
same. Yeah, I relate to that too. My 2.5 years is also the same. Yeah, and often use restore checkpoint. So what Replit does it? So it's still building out the whole thing. What Replit does it? You see this rollback here option.
Yeah.
So every time it will complete your one build, which is your one message to Replit, it will give you an option to hey roll back here. What it means is, let's say for example, after this prompt, I give it another prompt. Now that prompt messes something up which I am not able to fix. So you can click on this rollback here button and it will roll back to this version. So it will remove all the code it has written after this and you will roll back to the last checkpoint,
Got you.
which you knew it was working. And this is very powerful. Understanding that AI builds can be messy and you can roll back to a cleaner version before.
So it's like in the Google Doc or the Google Sheet, there is a history that is maintained. We can
Yes,
go back to
yes.
that particular history. That from.
Absolutely. 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 When AI misunderstands, clarify better. This is same as prompting in ChatGPT, right? You have to give a role, you have to tell an example, you have to tell what your context and what your objective is. Same thing as in no code prototyping as well. Break your request into small parts. Explain the goal, not just the feature. Don't just say, hey, I need onboarding. What do you need it for? What do you want to solve with the onboarding? That is important for it to build. Otherwise, it will just say, hey, welcome to Confessly, get in. That's also an onboarding. So it's important you do it that way. The next is debug like a teammate. Like I was saying that I'll take that index.html file and go to ChatGPT to ask it, hey, tell me what does this mean? The same thing can be done over here as well, where you can ask it to explain a code. You can ask it to explain why it is doing something like this. You can ask it to explain an error so that you understand. What I generally do it, I copy that thing from here and paste it in ChatGPT or Claude because here my message windows are limited. I don't want to waste it. So I'll copy it from here, paste it on a different LLM, and
Learn.
understand the error from there. That saves my token in the main build.
Got you.
Yeah,
And I think this thing will be really helpful when someone is like, because if we are getting things developed by a developer, they will never explain us that how the things are working.
exactly,
But
exactly.
a lot of people have this curiosity. Not everyone, but yeah, a lot of people have this
Yeah,
curiosity. Okay, man, how the things are going, how the architecture is working. So definitely they can get a good knowledge about that.
absolutely, absolutely. And once you advance, I think these curiosity helps you move much more faster from
Right.
MVP to a much more complex products also.
Right.
Like no code product today can maybe give you an app which is scalable to 10,000 people, maybe to a lakh if you
Right.
build it properly. But right now, if you talk about scalable systems which can host millions, no code prototyping is not there yet. So maybe in a year's time, who knows? Like this is moving so fast. In a year, you can build out for a million people at a single prompt. But today, it's important that you learn that foundational knowledge as you go along.
Right.
And lastly, don't get overwhelmed. Don't get lost in jargons. These are AI tools. After all, they can throw out some technical terms. Ask it to explain like a 5-year-old if you want it that way. Be curious, be clear, but don't get overwhelmed with anything. Just ask it to explain as simple as possible in whatever comfortability level you want, and it will do that job for you. That way, you can take the baby steps with the baby, basically.
Right. I also do this thing sometimes when I'm doing certain things. So if I'm not understanding that particular thing, so I do that. Explain
Yeah,
it to me in a simplest way.
absolutely, and that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, with that, actually, this is also ready.
Super.
Let's see. So, it has said I've built a complete anonymous confession and peer support platform for Gen Z. I've created a database schema, a complete Express.js, profanity filtering, anonymous user system, post composer, interactive postcard, admin panel, regional feeds. Perfect. Now, let's
Features
see if,
list. This is the
yeah,
features list.
this is the features list. Whatever we said in the PRD,
Yeah.
let us build. So I've opened this as a preview in a different tab so that we can see a full screen view. And let's see if everything is there or do we want to make any changes. Right. So
Superb.
there is option for Bombay, Delhi. Perfect. Right now, because we have not given any data, we don't see anything below. But let's see if we can post something. Hey, I am overwhelmed with AI. How do I go about learning? I think that's the topic also that everybody is. So this post is shared. Okay. I should see this post below, but I haven't seen it. So that is something we need to fix. Okay, we'll fix it for Mumbai.
I think
So
your
it has,
post count is also not updating.
yeah. So these are good things to note. We will fix those items. So post today it is given over here as 1, but here it is not giving us 0 to 3 only in Delhi. So we have to post that part. I think there's backend connection karna padega thoda sa. Okay. Anything else that you see we should fix as well?
Hmm.
Actually, let us ask it to populate some raw data below that so that we can see also some feeds,
Yes, dummy data.
dummy data. Okay, so I'll again go to my no code builder and I'll say, hey, Replet has built the first version. Looks good. Here is what it has done so far. And I'll copy this
Yes.
output from Replet. So you can get AI to do AI's job very well. Here is what I want to do next. Help me with the right Replet prompt. When I add the post, I don't see it in feed. The post count is also not updating. Populate the feed, regional feed with some dummy data I can interact. Third, add a login with email and password. Given this is more anonymous and everything, I think email is better than phone that way. That's why just going with this particular structure.
Login and sign up both are required now.
Yeah, login, sign up with email and password. Let's see what it gives. Okay, so next sprint objective, fix feed not updating. So it is written in plain text, which we can explain to this. Populate regional feed with dummy data. It has added some data over here and add email authentication, sign up route, login route, output. Optional fast forward sprint. This we can do later. So let us copy this. And I'll also show you what I was telling you a while back, letting AI make a plan. So now the same thing we will ask Replit to make a plan. So we'll say, hey, do not code, make a plan for this below. And we'll paste the prompt that we took from ChatGPT over here. And let's see what Replit comes up with. And for a very confession type app, which has to be very light-hearted, I think the UI is also very decent looking.
Yeah.
Where you can at least talk about it. Remember the old Orkut days before Facebook? It's something of those vibes. Right. So it has made a plan. So let us quickly glance through it. Looking at the issues we've identified the console logs, I can see the application is working, but there are some areas for improvement. Plan to fix and enhance, fix feed not updating after post creation. I can see from the log that a post was created successfully, but there might be cache invalidation issues. Okay, so here's the solution I will implement. Populate regional feed with sample data. Create a seed data script that generates realistic confession posts for different regions. Perfect. Add optional email password authentication. Currently only anonymous users, but some users might want persistent accounts. That's actually also true. Like
Yes.
otherwise this feed will become like you can't track your own past messages
Right.
because you have zero profile. You can just come over here and type. So it has not done a bad job thinking it should be anonymous, so let me not give a login only. Okay, fix daily post count. So now we'll say yes, implement this plan. So it will make the changes and it will also create a database. Right now, because all the posts are going directly over there without any user profiling, it has not created any database over here. Yeah. So see, basically this thing, if we just copy, you can see all the code where it is making changes. Now
Yeah.
we don't need to understand this, but what is client src hooks use post? Maybe something that you can check out. Creating seed data now. So it has done the first part. Now it will create seed data for regional feeds. And this is completely hands off for you, right? As a product manager, you're literally applying first principle thinking, okay, this should be there and
Yeah.
maybe it should work like this. And maybe let me just post it over there. uh, and it makes you a little more technically aware also. Like I'll give you an example. I was building a prototype very recently for Dream11 where we were testing out some games, right? And in a web app, generally what happens is when you refresh, you will lose the context of that page and you will go to the home page again. Right now, think of it, if I'm building Dream11 over there where you're in create team, you will select some 4 or 5 players, but for any reason the feed refreshes and you will go back to the home page. You have to come back again.
Create the
You have
team
to again
again.
add those favors, right? But as a product manager, your mind would have been, oh, this should not happen. Even if it refreshes, The context should be maintained and those 5 players should still be selected.
Yes.
And you can tell that to Replit, hey, also do this for me, by the way, here are the few things you need to take care of. So that first principle thinking helps a lot in building a much more refined prototype. So product managers can really be supercharged if they understand no code building, because they already have the first principle thinking more or less locked down.
Absolutely.
So it is implementing everything, and I think this should get us to our first MVP version that we are looking for. It is install authentication. It is updating storage interface for user operation. Let me complete the storage implementation by adding the user methods. Yeah, I think it is almost at its end, because it is taking a screenshot. So it should be giving us a message. Do you want to roll back here? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so it has done few things. I think we'll have to wait. It is still working.
It is also giving you the toast message as well.
Yeah,
Post has shared successfully.
absolutely. That's when, because we gave it the right context, it was able to build on top of it.
Yes.
Okay, I've reached the free limit, so I think we have the basic ones. You can see the post count here is updated from 1 to 3, so that is happening. Your post is over here. Second, user can optionally create account to test this through. Let me refresh if it has done this for us. I've successfully implemented fixed feed refresh issues, added seed data functionality. There is now seed sample data button in the admin panel. Okay, it understood that differently. Let me see, it can post. Test now.
Yeah, post
Yes,
count is
post
updating.
count and test now. See, you can see this
Yeah, I
also.
can see the message.
That is shown up here. So that way, everything will start showing up over here. Yeah, it could not implement the authentication completely because of this limitations that we have reached for a particular row. That's why we don't have any backend. Otherwise, it would have built the backend as well for us over here. So I'll show you a different application that I've built to understand how does the backend looks like, just
Sure.
in case, basically. But that's how you can use Replit to build an end-to-end thing for yourself. And
Right.
now different feed, everything is ready. Chennai will see Chennai only, and I can post again over here.
Yeah.
Chennai feed and share anonymously. It takes a second to update, so it will. Yeah, it's over here, and we can then heart it, reply it.
We can also fix that that even if they refresh, it should stay on Chennai.
Absolutely,
We can do.
absolutely. Yeah, this part is not done yet, where you can post a comment also, but you can build it out from here basically.
Got.
I'll very quickly show you how the database looks like over here, because it is not built on this one. So this was application I was building where I have a database where are different contest matches, player points, and everything listed. Right. So what a database is nothing but it's like an Excel table. Think of it this way, where if you're populating a particular Google form, you would have certain ideas in mind. Okay, in this Google form, I want 5 questions. These 5 questions should come in this particular order and should give these 4 options to it. Right. So this is nothing but just that. Now, for example, if I want to host a particular new match, let's say now there is a final between RCB versus Punjab. Now, in a typical fantasy world, there will be RCB mentioned on that match card. There will be Punjab mentioned on the match card. There will be a timer when the match is going to start. And then there is going to be titles and descriptions.
Right.
So like this particular sheet, what it does for me is I can basically add a column over here if I want to, which is more like, hey, this is my match ID. So I'll show you from this bottom that I've built. So this match 080 is my match ID. This is the identification key. Now, every time I use it in some other database, for example, Palash wants to create a team for RCB versus MI. So I'll tell it, Palash wants to create a team for match 080. And automatically it will go and save Palash's team under that match ID over here.
Right.
Yeah, so like, see, for example, in match 074, in contest DEF, which is the contest ID, Palash went ahead and saved a team with these players, these boosters, and at this time. Because every player also has a particular ID and is saved in the system. Sai Kishore is basically this ID, Josh Hazelwood is this ID. So backend is nothing but just this, where you have different tables, and each table has a particular schema. Schema means nothing but the column headers.
Yeah.
That in this particular table, whatever you are saving needs to have an ID, needs to have a title, needs to have a description, needs to have a team A, team B, and a API where you're fetching data, let's say for.
Yeah.
Another important part is you don't need to build this yourself. You can basically tell this particular agent that, hey, can you build a new database for me named user profile with the following schema: user ID, login. So if I go into users, let's see what else is there and replicate this. So user ID
Username.
and email. Yeah, username over there. Let's say these three things we want, right? And I want this to be as a new database named as user underscores profile. So I'll just hit enter over here.
And we can also take help of the chat GPT to figure out that what table we can create, what should be there
Absolutely.
in that particular schema.
Absolutely. So that's a very good point. So now let's say this particular no code navigator only. Can you give me a schema for different backend tables I need for Confessly? So let's say you've given this output.
User
So
create
yeah,
table.
it has given you all the tables. Okay, you need a user table for email and password.
Yeah.
Then you need something for anonymous tracking.
ID tracking.
Then you need a post table for
Yes.
core confessions.
Replies, reports.
Replies for moderation purposes, and admin panel. What is the relationship? Okay, user should be tied to post and reports. Post should be tied to replies. So it also gives that user relation that should be flown between
Right.
different tables.
Right.
Now let's say I tell it, okay, this is great. Also give me the schema for these tables. So it will explicitly call out then each of these may what all is there.
Email.
Right,
Usually.
perfect. Yeah. So in this create table of users, you need user ID, which is an integer value. So
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, which is your primary key.
Yes.
And this is where you auto increment the next user ID. So if you're 5 user, so sixth one should be 6. That is auto increment. Your email should be text. It should be unique, right? No two people should have the same email ID. Password should be under hash. It should be text so that nobody can see it.
Yes.
There should be a timestamp for created at, which is a date time feature. So it should show date and time.
When the user was created.
Exactly. So it will show like 2022 0602 12:48 30, and it is in GMT time, so it will always do plus 5:30 hours. Right. So this particular GPT can give you all those relations also, and you can quickly brainstorm it and build it. Right. So I'll show if this has built that table for us. Okay, perfect. So this table is now ready for use in your application. You can start storing. So let me refresh and see if this table is over here. So user profile is here, and it is all the 4 columns that we needed. So that way very quickly you can create database also over here only. Then you can give a prompt, okay, now link user profile to this particular table, and every time something updates over here, update user profile also. So it's just simple basic English after that.
Yes.
So overall very powerful feature if you understand how to really use it. Like, and all I have done is just came up with an idea, that also with help of an AI, converted that into a PRD with an AI, converted that into a prompt with an AI, converted that into a product with an AI.
End-to-end AI.
End-to-end AI, yeah. That's basically the power as product managers that we can learn and quickly test out multiple MVPs fast.
Super, Palash. It was really a very useful thing that you have shared. A lot of people have this thing in their mind that how we can, because especially the aspiring product managers, because everyone out there is talking about that you should have something in your portfolio, you should show something tangible in your portfolio. But people are like, okay, how can I build this? Because a lot of time I interact with a lot of, especially non-technical people, okay, coming from the non-technical background, they have the, do I need to hire a software engineer to build this? Do I need to have a team for this thing? Okay, so with the help of the chat GPT, with the help of these some AI tools, Replet or the other recommendation that you have
Lovable,
given,
bold,
Lovable,
anything, yeah.
okay. You simply need to understand what is the problem that you're trying to solve.
Yes.
You should understand English, even Hindi also works.
Absolutely.
Not mandatory. And just tell it what you want to get done, and it will do it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Marty Kagan wrote an article a few weeks back where he said humans will own the discovery and AI can hold the execution. And I think that is where we need to learn what is the right problem we want to solve and then quickly test it. Because over time, if you see in a year, if we build this in 30-40 minutes where we just came up with a random idea and did this, building an idea or copying your idea will become very fast.
Yeah.
But what will stay with you is one, the discovery that what is the right problem. Second, the hunger and the motivation that this is the problem I want to solve.
Mm.
And third is that emotional human connect, which only you can bring if you're passionate about the problem. That okay, I'm actually genuinely interested in solving it right, and
Mm.
not just copying it and building it. So those are the three human aspect as product managers we need to nail, and then
Yes.
these no code builders can help us
Abs-
supercharge ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A few days back, I was having a conversation with a guy who is he's transitioning from software engineering to product management. One of his students. He mentioned, I asked him that why you want to get out of this software engineering role. He mentioned that in few years, hopefully, this role of a software engineer will vanish. Because he mentioned this thing bluntly that I am using Python for doing certain things and AI is writing it down on my code. तो मेरी
Yeah.
जरूरत क्या रह जाएगी कुछ दिन के बाद when the AI agents will be there, these tools will be there.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No,
okay.
absolutely. I think that fear is there. However, I'll just say one thing on that. Like, be more empathetic and understand the problem. And whether you're a product manager, software engineer, everybody has a space into it. Because,
Yes.
like we were chatting, we can build an application which will scale for, let's say, 10,000 people, 1 lakh people. But we do need those software engineers' expertise also once
For
you want to
millions and
advance from
millions.
there. Yeah, absolutely. So, everybody has a space. As long as you use AI the right way, you will master the future.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Super Palash, it was nice interacting with you, and I'm sure
Likewise.
from this video, a lot of people out there, aspiring PMs, they will gain a lot of knowledge. Okay,
I hope so.
so thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for doing this. I hope it helps everybody.
Thank you.